Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sivdiv. Today I'm going to give you a tour of my self-converted Sprinter van. Over the last 2 months, I've been traveling from full-fledged winter in Michigan to 90+ temperature in Texas. And today I just want to show you what's possible when you're dad and you have 4 months, a $6,000 budget, and way too much curiosity to not convert a van. So I'm riding in a 2015 Ram ProMaster 3500 Extended. That's the biggest van that they have on the road right now. That means that I'm able to fit in a full-size bed, hot water shower, toilet, a fridge freezer, high-speed router, Xbox and monitor. I'm going to show you all that today, but first let's start in the cab area. So in general, this cab area is just like any other car, but I've got a couple features I want to point out. First of all is this GPS iPad. So this really came in handy when I was traveling from Michigan to Texas, a 20+ hour drive. And the next thing is a tourniquet. One thing I learned in the Marines and the YPG was to always be prepared, and I'm prepared. Got this right here. So this isn't a swivel seat like I've seen in other vans, but let me show you why. So I've got the mountain bike right here next to the cab area. I'm still able to get in and out of the cab from the back, but the reason I have the mountain bike here mainly is to go and prevent thieves from even knowing I'm living in a van, which increases stealth, and then also they aren't tempted to go and take my bike. And then underneath the passenger area, I've got a bunch of storage, so I just keep all my extra shoes there. I've got a ton of room that's just overhead the cab. It goes really deep where I am able to now fit my 27-inch monitor that I recently bought for the Xbox. Yeah, I mean, it fits perfectly up there, and I keep other things that I don't really use all that often up there. And the last thing is the blackout curtain, but I'll show you that later. And the other thing you probably noticed is I don't have a sink right here, which a lot of other vans have. I managed to fit everything else over there, which gives me this giant 3 by 7 foot area where it's just a cargo space area. I've been able to fit 2 mattresses, a bed frame, and an extra person in the extra seat. It's really awesome to still have that cargo space. I kind of lied. I do have one thing that's blocking the entrance, if you can even say that. It's a pull-up bar / towel drying rack, because you know the sun can come in, and yeah, it can sport up to 200 pounds. Well, anyway, that's the entrance area. Come on into the shower. So with the shower area, my dad and I put all the plumbing inside this 4-inch wall. That means I don't have an elevated shower pan, which means I have a lot of headroom, I have a lot of shoulder room. It's a 30 by 32 inch shower pan. About the shower, gotta show you hot tap, cold tap. So in the winter months, I can get steaming hot water, and in the summertime, because I've got 35 gallons stowed away inside the vehicle, it's nice and chilled, especially in the morning. The actual shower head isn't that fancy, it's not a low flow, but it does the job, and I know to take pretty quick showers. Now, the other thing I want to touch on is the toilet. This is a cassette toilet. I've seen a lot of people get nature head composting toilets, and I mean, I've smelled one before. It's not that great in my opinion. Cassette toilets, it's I can't recommend them enough. Not only are they like 20% the cost, but they've got a double safety feature for the smell. They've got an airtight seal right there, which contains the smell quite a bit. And then they've got a second lid, which just keeps everything inside. You can't smell it if both of those things are on there. And also with the flush mechanism, you just fill that with a little bit of Pine Sol and you are good to go. I've got a fan up top. It's just a little Chinese fan, but it's enough to get the moisture out of this shower room. And down below, where all the water goes, is just a hole we put through the bottom of the van, and it drains out directly to a drain if there's one in a parking lot or something. It works well for me. Next up is the kitchen area. These inset cabinets are just so I don't bump my head, but they're still able to carry a lot of storage. So if you want to show this, I've got the Brita, coffee, tea, and cups all in this one, so it's all just drinking stuff. This is all the food stuff. It's enough. I mean, it got rice, cereal, Nutella, tortillas, and all that. And this is where I put all my spices. Now the spice cabinet is getting pretty full, as you can see. I'm thinking in the future I'll get a magnetic spice rack, because as you can already tell, the entire backsplash of my kitchen is stainless steel, which means I can put anything that's magnetic. So I've got lights, I've got hooks, got a fruit basket, a hook carrying this, got some magnetic holders, Now this one is actually kind of important. This is where I keep all my essentials and safety gear. So if somebody were to go and break in the front, just take out that pepper spray, spray it through the black curtain, should do the job. And if not, I've got the knife right there. And right next to that is the 120 volt outlet. I've got a couple of them scattered throughout the van, you'll probably see, but this is nice for blenders, toasters, even hair dryers. I mean, it's in a nice kitchen area, so I did that on purpose. And speaking of the wall, I do have the light switches here as well. So this one is for this area. It's kind of hard to tell because we have the daylight coming in, but and this is all for the fan, shower. Right below all the light switches and all that, I've got the 2-burner propane stove, which is just connected via 2 safety valve. There you go, you got yourself a stove. Underneath the stove is my 120 volt fridge. Now I've heard all the rumors on van life about how this is gonna drain your battery, it's not worth it, invest in the $1,000 12 volt fridge, which doesn't even have a freezer. But come look at this. I've got plenty of storage space. It is kind of ridiculous. It's technically a mini fridge, but it's got about 8 cubic feet of space. Can't recommend it enough. I have it on the lowest setting for the fridge freezer, but it's still enough to freeze water within, I don't know, 30 minutes or so. Right next to the fridge, I've got probably the messiest cabinet I have, which holds my 7-gallon gray water tank for the sink, and I've just got a bunch of cleaning supplies in here. Also, the water heater, the way that I have the hot water in the shower and the sink, which is exhausted to the outside. And up here I've got a fantastic fan, literally the brand name, so recommend getting this guy. It's right above the kitchen, and it gets really fast, keeps things livable in the summer temperatures. Next up is the sink. Probably one of my most proud areas. It took a lot of research to go and find the right faucet and the sink depth, but the way it works is you come over here, you press on this pump, turns on, and all you gotta do is just do the tap. It's got 2 settings, so it's got this, and I can put up the power, but I don't want to waste water, and you can move it around. So real handy, especially for not wasting a bunch of water. And right here is where I keep my utensil drawer, just keeps everything in there. And right below that is a must-have if you are going to be in the winter months. So I'll leave this furnace in the description below. Can't recommend it enough. Combined with the fiberglass insulation I have all throughout the van, I'll be walking around on a t-shirt in below freezing temperatures. It's pretty amazing. Can't really say I would be able to say the same if I had a Mr. Buddy heater like I've seen. And underneath the cabinet area, I have a secret compartment, which I don't have anything in there, but I would assume if I have some friends over with laptops, we can just stuff that in there. And we'll feel a little safer if we want to go camping or something. Anyway, continuing on with sort of the kitchen area, but now in the middle, I've got this drawer here. This holds all my plates, bowls, and some Ziploc baggies, extra food, that sort of stuff. And if you were looking at this footrest and thought that this was wasted space, you forgot the most valuable lesson from van life, which is don't waste any space. So I've got a bunch of stuff in here, crock pot, some extra containers, you know, Tupperware, great use of space. You could use this for anything though. So I like the footrest. Right underneath here is where I keep all my pots and pans, which finishes up the kitchen area. I've got a light as well, but I don't usually use that. Right next to that, I've got another 120 volt. I usually plug in my Xbox monitor into this one, and just in case I have a propane leak, since I have so much propane just going around my entire van, I've got a propane, CO2, and carbon monoxide detector. It's nice down low so it can detect the propane, which is denser than air. It's a 5 watt as well, so even though it's run on electricity, it's not going to be a draining battery, and it's not going to be a risk of turning off in the middle of the night. Speaking of safety features, I've got my fire extinguisher right there. It's right next to the kitchen. Did that strategically, and next to that is the movable chair. I'll take that out for you. So as we're making our way around to this side of the wall, got to mention the patch wall. So if you've been following my channel the last 9 months, about 7 months ago, I spent 7 months with the YPG in Syria fighting ISIS. So to any veterans that are wondering, can I do van life without going full hippie? 25% hippie and you'll be fine. So over here I've got a little bit more personality. I still have yet to fill underside this table with stickers, but I'm getting there. And let me put down the table for you, because I want to talk about these gauges. So if you want to show these gauges, this is the battery percentage. So as I said earlier, I've got 600 watts of solar, 600 amp hours of battery. So this just tells me all the voltage, tells me the input versus output, and right below that is the one I usually check, which is the actual battery counter. So I've got the voltage and 100% battery, which is very normal for my van. Usually by the end of the day, like even at like 4 a.m. if I'm just up playing Warzone all night, it'll be at 75%. I don't go below 70%. It's very rare. So, and right above that is my sound bar, which is fantastic. It's a cheap sound bar on Amazon, but fills up the space, and the insulation, you'd be surprised. I can have this thing on pretty much full blast. You can't hear from the outside. It's really nice. I don't know if I should thank the soundbar for that or the insulation, but now the table took a lot of engineering. We made it out of just a Salvation Army table I found at a store, so it's a little rounded right here, which is nice, so people don't bump into it or catch their clothes on it. And I put the footrest so you can actually rest your feet. I've seen this in Trent and Allie's video. They have a very similar van to mine, but they don't have an extra seat and they don't have a footrest. And they were complaining about that. I made sure not to have that complaint. But right here, let me put up the table so I can show you. I've got the extra seats, which a lot of people can't say that they have. It's a bench seat made for a Jeep. Basically, I just installed it here with my dad. I asked him, do you think it would be possible to put a third seat in? He said, absolutely. And the lap belt is attached to the frame of the van. Not many people can say they have a third seat in a van. I've already used it a couple times. It's street legal, just a lap belt. And pretty much anybody that's back here gets free reign to a table. They could be on their laptop, just like a camper van. And I don't want to skip over this part because this is another thing I haven't seen in many vehicles. The closet. But it's not just a closet, it's got a full body mirror, which is super important if you're gonna be living on the road and you don't wanna look like a bum all the time. So I highly recommend getting some big mirror somewhere in your van. I just found it the most useful if it was right on this door. And the closet space, I can hold up to 25 shirts very comfortably. Down here, I actually have storage going all the way down to the floor of the van. So this means I have just extra seasonal clothes like coats right now down there stored away. I've got this backpack which has my hookah in it because that's my dirty pleasure. And back there is where I keep my Xbox just stored away with the mic. You can probably see there's also electrical. We have electrical and propane sort of running on this side of the van, which I'll show you where it's coming from in a little bit. But overall, it's really nice having this full body mirror, having the closet for hanging clothes. And right above the closet area, I've got a space that's made for all my toiletries, contacts, and then I've got a divider up there which holds just daily stuff, sunglasses, AirPods, chapstick, that sort of thing. Now I'll climb up this little staircase up to the lounging / bed area. It is 6'2" across, which means I don't have to sleep diagonally. I can have plenty of space, not a problem at all. And it also doubles up as a lounging area, like I said. I've got the pillows all up on the side, which means I can have a friend or two in here, maybe 3. I've had 3, it's a little tight, I'll be honest, but it's just comfortable. It's nice for watching movies, playing Xbox, smoking hookah, whatever you can think of. I just wanted to be as inviting as possible. Over here I've got another 120 volt outlet. Again, I can either plug my Xbox monitor to it or I can just charge some, an iPad, a drone, whatever I have. These cabinets, nothing too special, just regular cabinets. They've got the struts obviously. This one carrying my underwear and socks, and this one is all my lower body wear. And underneath the cabinets, I put in these 2 little container things. I can slide in a towel in each of them so I can swap them out and I don't have to do laundry as much. And over here is where I rest my head, so I wanted to put all the light switches here, place for charging my phone, thermostat for the furnace, and I've got the door which gives me access to that room I was talking about. And another thing which I think is just the highlight of my vehicle, it helps out everybody. I can play Warzone on it with my buddies, is the router. It's called a Mophie router and I can't recommend it enough. All you do is you plug in your unlimited data SIM card from AT&T, Verizon, like anybody. It just beams out basically a hotspot, but it's got really strong antennas. Can't recommend it enough. It keeps things cheap. You don't have to pay, what is it, $200 a month for 200 gigabytes of data. You don't have to do any of that. I can't see that. So this is how I'm able to watch Netflix, play video games, all in my van with no problem at all. Right next to that is just a 5 volt, just a little book light. And above that is a vent. Now, this is the only vent that I have in the van that is not a fan. And the reason I have that is as soon as I open this up, if I crank it up, there's a nice breeze, because if I have that fan on over there, it sucks in the air, and that's how I get circulation. That's how I keep things livable in the summertime, 90+ degree weather. So if I'm in a t-shirt or something, not sweating, but it's definitely more comfortable at night. I kind of wish I had an air conditioner, to be honest. I want to show off the lights, but I'll probably show that off at the end of the video. The garage. So the garage area, got a lot going on. I'm gonna try and explain it in as simple of words as possible without doing the build tour, right? Over here I've got 35 gallons of water, which is good for me for a week. I can shower, I can do anything that you do in a regular house for a week, and then I have to refill it. I usually just refill it at parks as well. I just put it under a tap or something. It's free and they don't seem to mind. And over here is where I keep my 20-pound propane tank, and that's how I'm able to use the stove, the furnace, the hot water. And honestly, I have not refilled that in a month. It's plenty, but as soon as I have the furnace on, if I'm in winter, I have to refill it basically weekly. So I've got all my solar and electrical stuff over here. It connects to the 6 100-watt solar panels that I have up top. I've got a 2200-watt pure sine wave inverter, which is fantastic for powering Xbox, a fridge, everything at the same time. Also with this setup, if you just want to get in here, I've got an MPPT solar charge controller. I've got, that inverter down there, some fuses and such. So my dad, obviously, with this entire van, he's the real carpenter and all this. He taught me how to do everything. I didn't even know the difference between a nail and a screw before I started building, so now I know a little bit of everything, but he's the main engineer. I don't want you to forget that. And over here, I've just got a bunch of storage. Probably already saw it, but I really enjoy airsoft. That's like a hobby of mine. So this is all airsoft gear. This is hiking. I can work out. I've got some boots. I'm doing some contracting work, and I just need to stay fit. I need to keep my gear somewhere, so this holds everything. I think that's pretty much it. I'm probably forgetting a couple things, but that's the garage area. It keeps what I need, and pretty much everybody has their own hobby. You just gotta make sure that garage is able to hold that hobby. So that's the van. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, stay tuned for the build tour that I'll have next, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.